get it. Let's get it.
Welcome back again to the Small Talk Sunday podcast. This time we didn't mess it up. We actually said welcome back again and not welcome for the first time. If you're just now joining us, this is your host, William Parks. We have Joshua Brandon, Jared Jasper, and Jack Hampton. And we just talk about all things that you're not really going to find a whole lot anywhere else, really. So that and more coming up. I guess, guys, we'll just hop straight into it. Why not? How y'all doing?
I just want to say you killed the intro, bro. No complaints.
We did a little bit better than last time, I guess.
Second episode, we're getting better. We're getting better every time.
It just takes a little bit of time. Jared, how you doing?
I'm making it, man.
You banking it?
Good.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Jack, how's life right now?
Solid.
How's life? Solid.
Busy but solid. Yeah.
Good. I'm gonna be honest with you.
This was your first week full time.
Yeah, it was. And I was super excited about it, and then I overworked myself for the past week because I wanted to produce more. So I'm gonna have to scale some stuff down, but I'll be all right for sure. No complaints.
That's okay. I'm sure it feels nice to be on that new schedule, though.
Yeah, I love it, man. How are you guys? Not about me.
Oh, we're good.
Life's good. Had to readjust actually going back into work and stuff after that New Year's trip.
Same.
Been locked in with content recently, for this podcast and videos and everything. So, same old. Girl's good. Everything's good. Life's good.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So as you guys know, I went on the ski trip. This past weekend.
Let's hear about it.
Oh, it was awesome. It was great. The whole trip there, we were just having a blast, and a bunch of stuff happened while we were out there. First off, Vail. So we went to Vail, Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Vail is very high in elevation. So I was kind of praying the whole time that the elevation sickness wouldn't get to me. Cause that's the thing. If you're not aware, you can kind of get sick from being super high in elevation because the oxygen gets really thin and you have to work harder. Didn't get sick, but I will tell you what, I would take 5 steps up, a flight of steps, and I'd be winded. I'd be like, man, I need to up my cardio a little bit. I'm kind of tired. But it was good. It was glad to kind of get away and just go do something that's not the normal grind. And, we haven't taken vacation in, I don't even know how long, years, like that. So it was nice to be gone and go and do that. And, really just kind of enjoy God's creation, which truthfully, whenever you're up on top of a mountain and you look around, you see all other mountains, it's just breathtaking. So it was good. Got back here at 2:30 this morning though. So we're,
oh my God.
Yeah, we're cranking right now on some low sleep energy. So we have some coffee not even sponsored by, but from In a Strange Brew Cup, which is the town of Starkville, Mississippi, where we all went to school. So, yeah. So,
bro, I meant to say something about your reel. That was incredible. I loved it. I was gonna comment on it. I ended up. Austin White, shout out to him, took my comment, but it is what it is.
Icy. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. We had a good time making it. My parents were all about it, and every morning I'd get up and go work on the video, and then I would come back down and show them, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And it was a fun little outlet there. So
yeah,
dope. Love to hear it.
Which one of you guys want to kick this thing off with your topic?
Well,
let's keep the same order. Come on, Josh.
We'll keep the same order. All right, I'll kick it off.
Joshua.
So something I've seen recently, I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you guys have seen anything about the Logan Paul and George beef on the Impulsive podcast.
I haven't.
Heard anything about that?
You've got to fill me in.
Yeah, I mean, me and you watched a video about it a little bit, Will, but you didn't get the full scope of it.
That's right. I remember.
We watched a video on it. If you guys don't know, so basically there was a podcast where George was professing his belief and stuff, and like how his hard times have been and things like that, and Logan's kind of just bashing it a little bit. And the way he did it was like he had his perspective, but it was a little bit disrespectful the way he did it, right? And so George kind of said this thing yeah, it's gonna come back to bite you kind of thing. Like he said, God will handle it kind of thing. And so fast forward to the next podcast, a bunch of stuff happened with Logan. A whole documentary comes about a scandal that he's been in, a scam with Crypto Zoo. A whole bunch of stuff happened when he was in Qatar for the World Cup and stuff. But essentially, and then he's getting bashed online because of the way he treated George. And so everybody was yo, George, you need to leave. You need to leave Logan. Leave Impulsive. They don't deserve you. And then George said something on the podcast that kind of like stuck with me, and I talked about it in a video last week. And he basically said, he was like, we live in a society where we are so quick to where we think burn thy neighbor. And it stuck with me because I was like, we are in a society, we are like that. We are very quick to have somebody where it's like, oh, they do one bad thing or they trigger me one bad way, and I just cut them off completely instead of staying with that person and saying they messed up, yeah, but I want to cultivate it. I want to cultivate a relationship with them. So I may be the person that when they messed up, I may be somebody that says, hey, I'm a light that I can show you that you messed up, and then I can help you grow, and they cultivate together. And I don't know if you guys heard about that, but that's something that's been on my mind recently, is a whole lot about like why our society is so quick to cut people off. I don't understand it.
I think, sorry if you guys want to go first, but I think it's a reflection on yourself too. Like, what mental state are you in life? I feel like if I'm in a bad state of mind, like myself, like I'm disappointed in myself or something's going on in my personal life, I'm quick to judge others because it deflects me away from my pain going on right now. And no matter who it is, it can be your neighbor, it can be your old best friend or whatever, but you're just quick to judge because you want to take your attention off yourself. You want to put it on someone else. That's just my opinion, though.
No, I think that's a totally fair opinion. I think we also live in a time where a lot of people decide not to. We take much different avenues to make ourselves feel better about ourselves. I don't know how much better to frame this. We are very quick to judge because that's the kind of society that we live in. We have social media. We have a lot of different things. We have a lot like Tinder, for example. Everything's idolized on there. You judge a person by the way they look in their profile online. You don't actually get to know the person before you make a judgment about them, right? And so that complicates and creates a whole issue and stigma around the whole reason as to why we think the way we do. You know, a lot of the older generation, or I can't speak to everybody, right? But just from the people that I've spoken to, it's not like that. You know, they actually got to know each other a lot first, and there wasn't this whole judgy kind of stuff that happens, and people just shut people down for the way they look, and like that's always happened. It's always been a thing, but not to the scale that it has with us because of the way that our world works now and the things that we have.
Yeah, I think George handled it very well though. You know, being slow to speak and slow to anger, but also being firm in his position, but not getting mad at necessarily just being slow to anger at Logan. And Logan also got sick. You know, saw that video where he got food poisoning or something like that.
Yeah, food poisoning and alcohol poisoning at this like back to back.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Which, you know,
he
made. I think he made the comment about, you know, the words that he was saying, and then right after he was vomiting profusely, and just the picture that painted to Logan was pretty significant. That what came out of his mouth was repulsive.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll give a what's the word I'm looking for? I'll give the benefit of the doubt. Some people do like to say, yes, you should cut people off if they're being toxic in your life. And I agree. If someone's being toxic in your life and it's a repetitive thing that's happening over and over again, then it's like, okay, at some point you need to escape them out of your life. But for to have like one thing happen, I think that's a completely different scenario. And people don't know how to discern or how to separate those two things. They think like one immediate thing that's like cut them out immediately. And I think that's like something we need to be able to like change. I think it's a huge problem because it happens. You see it like with divorce rates, with jobs. Like people get divorced because they're not happy. They think grass is green on the other side, so they leave. And jobs today, as young people today, we are so easy to just like hop from job to job because like I don't like this company. This company's better. I'm gonna hop to this one. And so it's so hard for people to like cultivate those same cultures at even like jobs even today because people just hop around because they're so quick to just say, it doesn't fit exactly what I want. I'm not going to try to make it better. I'm just going to go what I think is better. And it's like almost looking for like the easy way out in a sense.
Yeah. You're exactly right. And the sad thing, I mean, we're all on social media. The sad thing about it is shit that does views or the thing that does views is the negative stuff. It's not the positivity. Yes, you'll have a positive story like Damar Hamlin go viral and people rally in prayer, but that's once in a lifetime, really, because the stuff that is popular that gets the views nowadays is negativity and judgment of others. And that I feel like that's the sad reality of this world right now.
You know, actually feeding off that too, not to like make this point like super big and in your face, but like, isn't it funny how after the DeMar Hamlin thing kind of ended well, thank goodness it ended well. He didn't pass away, right? The NFL has now, they're like, okay, yeah, you can pray on the field. Like, that's all good. Like, you're totally fine. Like, it only took that one event. It's weird how nothing else changed it until this one event happened.
Yeah.
I think that's really weird.
I'm just the type of look at it. I'm glad it went to that and that it happened. I'm not going to go back and argue because there was people like talking about it could have been the COVID vaccine. No matter how you feel about that, like there was a man on his deathbed and people are arguing or like rooting for him to pass away because they want to be right so bad on Twitter and so bad on all these other platforms, and it's just sad.
Man, that's really low if you want someone to die. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody that wanted him to die, but I mean, sheesh.
You should have. I was going through my comments because I posted a video about him last week, and it was just like I had to stop reading them. I'm like, what is this?
They were that bad?
Yes.
Dude, my
there was like most
gosh.
liked comments. I'm like, dude, what?
What in the world?
Yeah.
I would never wish that upon anybody, regardless of what's going on. I mean,
Yeah, that's crazy.
that's insane. I'm gonna be honest. Whenever you asked me the question the first time of the judgment thing, I don't even know if I really answered that question correctly, but it kind of came full circle here because now we're wrapping it back into media and how, in reality, media shapes a lot of our country. And a lot of stuff happens on the back end that a lot of people don't know about, and we haven't known about for a long time because we haven't had tools and devices such as this to share information like that. There's a lot of stuff that's happened that in this world, we think that we have control over, but we really don't. And it's very good at being portrayed as such.
Yeah, I've like realized that a lot recently. I've been watching like a lot of documentaries, and there's like a lot of documentaries just like how companies came up. So like tech companies, Coca-Cola, all these different kind of companies, and it's crazy to hear like how much goes on behind the scenes, and how they influence like TikTok, for example. TikTok literally changed like how music is now. Like people are literally writing songs now to say like, hey, I wonder if this will blow up on TikTok. They're writing lyrics specifically for it to blow up on TikTok now. And then some producers and labels are like, hey, this is a good song, but it won't do well on TikTok, so we don't want to release that as a single. It's like the media is like changing, like all sorts of media. Just something like social media, like TikTok is changing music, our society and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just like anything else. There's a negative and a positive side. I don't think social media is like itself is the one to blame. I just believe that social media has exposed humans in the sin for what it really is.
Yes.
The technology itself is not bad. It's just like the printing press or the television was not bad. It just exposes humans for what they are. And it's in positive ways here because like I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for social media. Like there is so many positive outlooks on it, and it's up to the human itself. What are you going to do with it? Like in your algorithm, are you going to, if you consume negative content, the algorithm's going to send you more negative content. It's not the algorithm's fault. The app just wants you to stay on their app. And it's same with the positivity.
That's so true, Jack. And I bash on social media a lot, guys, because I was like, there's a lot of stuff that
just like anything else.
Yeah. And you take that perspective too, and like you can apply it to a bunch of different stuff. Whether or not any of you guys are supporters of Second Amendment or not, a gun is a tool. The ultimate decision of if it's a good tool or a bad tool is the person who's using it. It's only as effective as the person that's using it. So, same point to you, Jack. I mean, truthfully, you're right. You're right. It is. It's really how we use and how we make these things to be used.
Exactly. And it's like, you don't put the gun on trial. You put the human on trial. You know what I'm saying? It's the people behind the keyboards that you really question, not the app itself.
And similarly, the tech companies get put on trial, just like the gun manufacturers would get put on trial.
Exactly.
But usually nothing really happens with those. But yeah, people do it,
Absolutely. JB, got anything else with your topic? Is that it?
No, I'm good on my topic. I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit, but I'm good.
That was fire. Who went second last time? Was it?
I think it was you, Jack.
Okay.
We can just go in the order of the notes.
All right, cool. We'll do that. I just wanted to bring like the importance of communication here. I had a friend reach out to me recently. He moved to a big city, 1,500 miles from home. He has a great paying job. He's happy with the job. but just moving away from family, he hasn't really he didn't estimate properly what the effect on his mental health would have. And he reached out to me and he was like, hey man, can you like start checking up on me and stuff? Can we like have a call once a week? And I was like, absolutely. And then I immediately like turned to myself, I'm like, this is on me because I feel like I should have reached out. Yes, like it's not obviously all on me, but that's just the importance of communicating with somebody, even a text or a call, just helping somebody through hard times. That's one of my resolutions, is be intentional with my words, with my friends, and be open and honest about what's going on in my life.
Yeah, dude, I feel that. I feel like it gets to me a lot because I know there are a lot of people that I want to check up on, and I know, and like I've done research on it on like why I am this way because there are a lot of people I don't check up on, and I've learned that it's a thing. It's a product of having ADHD, which I have, and it's a product of like when it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So like if I don't see that person every day, if I don't think about the person every day, then I just don't even think to like call them. So there's like certain friends where it's like, yeah, I haven't talked to them in a while, and I would love to check up on them, but my brain just doesn't even like register to think about it. And then they call me, and I'm like, wow, I feel so bad because they thought enough about me to care to call me and check up on me. So that's like something I've made like recently is like I make like daily notes, like I'll call this person today or text this person today, make sure they're doing okay. So yeah, I definitely feel you on how bad it feels not to check up on somebody and how you feel like that communication can definitely it can dwindle down, especially since we're all in different cities and things like that. It's definitely harder for us to communicate, but it's not impossible.
Right.
We can definitely start doing it a lot more.
And I was just thankful, like he reached out, because that's the hardest part, is reaching out when you do need help. But Will, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're good, dude. I was about to say, I mean, it does pose challenges. I'm so used to whenever we were at school, we all lived right next to each other, right? We were in the same building, like within 100 feet of each other's rooms, right? It's so easy to go and just talk to each other and just have great conversation. But, to your point, whenever you do move to a different city or you move to different areas or you're doing different things in life, it does pose obstacles. And, I definitely, every time I get a text or a call from Jack or JV here, or even Jared, whenever Jared reaches out, I definitely have a thing of like, in my mind, I'm like, man, I should have sent something to Jack. I should have been like, hey, how's it going? If you guys noticed, I see you guys some Monday motivation. I was like, I got to say something.
I love it.
I got to say something over there. But no, it's definitely super important to do that because one of my hardest things that I am working on, especially for this year, is maintaining relationships, right? These guys can attest, I can go up and talk to anybody, but whether or not I can maintain the relationship over a long period of time, where let's say I meet you at the gym and I get your phone number, chances are I probably won't text or anything unless it's really relevant. I want to be better about that and reaching out and consistently saying, hey, let's go do something this week. Hey, let's go do some, what are you up to next week? Hey, what are you doing today for lunch? Let's go do something, like so on and so forth, right? And that's something I feel like a lot of people, well, I can't say a lot of people because I can't speak for a lot of people. Everybody's different. And I don't think this is like a side effect of anything else. I think it's just my personality, right? It just gets harder whenever you get long distance to communicate with other people. And to Jack's point, it's very important whenever you have good close friends, because those are the people that are on your side whenever you need them most.
For sure. Absolutely. J-Rod, what you think, big dog?
I mean, I know it's hard, especially moving away. I mean, in college, even just waking up and just being alone is a lot different, because I could wake up and walk in JV's room and just talk to him for 5-10 minutes, whatever. And it was so easy. But now it's much more difficult to get in contact. I mean, I guess with technology it's not as much, but it's not as simple as just walking in to your roommate's room and just having a conversation just to up your mental or feel a little bit better. And especially I feel like it hits the hardest like 5-6 months after you move, because whenever you just move, it's still all new and you're still excited, but once it starts setting in that life's really changed, that's when it really hits you.
That's so true.
That is so true, man. You're absolutely right. And the thing I miss about it too, whenever you would walk into JB's room, we all know each other well enough where we can tell, like, hey man, what's wrong? But over technology, through a text or even a FaceTime call, it's really hard to see that. But at the same time, you don't know how far a call or text or FaceTime can go with that person.
Yeah, that's so true.
And I think it's important, like for all of us, because I think like we're all so busy, we can all get caught up in what we're doing so much that like just getting that phone call is like, wow, that means the world. Because it kind of like slows you down. It's like, let me slow down for a second, enjoy the time that I'm talking to my friend. Let me stop rushing around from video to recording to going to go, I don't know, go to the grocery store. I need to pick up this. Like it gives you a second to just like slow down and actually talk to your friend and enjoy the time.
Right.
Exactly.
You know,
Makes you be present.
I would say I don't
Yeah.
want to get into the specifics, but I've been going through a bit of a hard time recently. And Jack, and JB, these men right here have all done a really good job of reaching out and communicating with me during this kind of rough patch. So, you know, from experience right now in the given, it really does help, and it goes a lot further than you guys ever know. So, anyway, man,
Who's next?
I guess it's
Moving
me.
to- yeah,
It's
come
me
on.
Alright.
next. I guess it's me. Okay, all right, everybody. I got some light topics here. Talking about
We need it.
what we're doing for 2023. What are our goals for 2023? This is the real big thing that I kind of wanted to set out and just lay out and put on the record here for what we're going to do this year. Okay. Now I'll go over and cover each one of these individually on their own, kind of as we just go through them. But the first one is I want to form an even stronger and a better relationship with God through devotion and Bible studies and praying and whatnot, because I feel like this past year I was very lukewarm. I wasn't as close or connected as I have been in the past, and I definitely could feel that in a bunch of different areas. There are definitely things that I saw happen in my life that I wasn't a fan of. Granted, God does place it, like God, whether or not I'm lukewarm, He's still working in my life no matter what, and I understand that. But it's a matter of understanding where you're going, where your journey is taking you, and if you're really going to end on the right side. If you follow how He wants you to follow Him, right, via the Bible. So, step one, get better at that. I need to do that. I've been doing it the past month or so. I've been a lot better about it, but we're going to continue on that same path. I just want to keep that super consistent because honestly, once I get in that grind, guys, it feels so good. Whenever you wake up, you have that consistency. You start off your day reading the Bible, praying, thinking about everything that God has provided you and being just like super grateful for life just to be able to wake up in the morning. You have a totally different perspective of the world. No matter what happens in your day, you can still be at peace. And it's,
Absolutely.
I mean, you could have a really bad day and that doesn't mean you won't feel bad. But at the end of the day, you know that He's got it all. You can just give it up to Him and you can just relax. Anybody else have anything to say on that?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lot like really similar to my goal as well, because it's just getting back into that consistency. Consistency is a key word for me this year as well, because like you said, if you wake up and pray, it gives you a sense of perspective for the day, because that's all life is at the end of the day is perspective. It's how you look at things. It's the old saying, it's 40% what happens to you, 60% how you respond, or whatever the percentage is. But perspectives gives you the freedom to do that. And I feel like prayer and even exercise as well, you just feel more ready and energized for the day.
Yeah, I definitely feel that whenever you said that it's your perspective is like what really matters. So it's taking like you said, the prayer is what really gets you ready for the day, but then I think your perspective is how you take things. So something that I'm really focusing on as in 2023 is how I respond to things. How is my attitude toward everything? And a quote that really stuck with me, it's um your life will completely change whenever you stop thinking, why did this happen to me versus what is God trying to teach me right now? And when I heard that quote, it like completely flipped how I think of everything. So something bad happens to me at work, okay, or my boss gets angry at me because I didn't do something fast enough. What is God trying to teach me? He's trying to teach me patience, teach me to not anger so quickly. Somebody's talking to me and I don't want to give them the time of day because I think I'm too busy. What is God trying to teach me? He's trying to teach me to be humble, that whatever I'm doing is not more important than whatever they're doing. And so it's taking those moments that are happening in your life and flipping them to saying, what is God trying to teach me um, versus why is this happening to me? Why is it always a nuisance to me? So that's something I'm really trying to focus on in 2023.
That was beautiful, JB.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I feel that with their responding, being slow to anger. I find myself a lot just when something happens, there's just automatic emotions fly up and you let words fly and it's like, well, you start thinking about it later. You're like, well, I could have responded that a lot better. Um, but also another goal of mine is to become uncomfortable being uncomfortable in positions about my faith. So like putting yourself out there, stopping and praying for somebody and whatever God calls you to do, um, just being ready and just doing it.
I agree. Amen to that, man.
I love it. I
Exactly
love hearing
right.
that. Putting yourself in, because like we can get very comfortable in our faith and we think we're doing everything right in our faith, but then there's things that God's just telling us to do, and we're like, I think I'm doing enough, God. I don't think I need to do anymore. And it's putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Like let's say you see somebody out and God says, I want you to pray for that random person right now. And you're like, really here, God? And it's like, that doesn't feel too comfortable, but he doesn't want you to be comfortable. That's not what he wants you to do. He's asking you to do
Exactly.
Yeah.
something
Yep.
because he knows that that's going to help their life later down the road. So I really like that, stepping outside of your comfort zone, just in life in general, and then like especially in your faith. I love that.
Exactly. There's no growth in comfort either. You don't grow unless you're in an uncomfortable situation
Yep.
as well. I think you, Jared and JB, y'all hit the nail on the head. You too. Well, I'll let you too.
I appreciate. I didn't add to that topic, but I agree with you, Jack. I think that they nailed. You guys couldn't have framed that in any better way, and I fully agree with it. Being compliant and comfortable doesn't get you anywhere. You won't. If you want to earn something that you've never had, you have to do something you've never done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Think
feel
about that and let that sink in. You have to do something you've never done to get somewhere you have never been.
Mhm.
I feel that.
It's plain and simple. And it's not, and to be honest with you, like I'm saying this as if it just came off the top of my head. I saw that somewhere on social media, and I'm sure that some of you guys have probably seen that somewhere else too, maybe. But it's true, and a lot of that is just guided through God teaching you, hey, here's a situation you can take into control, and let's rock and roll on this thing. But remember that God works through you. You are the one that has to put in the work and do it. He's not going to do it for you. You have to do it. It's not just going to happen.
Exactly.
Yes, man. There are so many people. Like I get a lot of questions like how do I do this or how do I do that? And I don't want to get specific into the questions because that's their business. But there's a lot of it really just boils down to is like how disciplined are you and how much do you love God in order to stay disciplined to that action. So how do I stop away from this temptation? Well, if you don't want to be in temptation, put yourself away from situations like that. Why are you trying to say I'm going to go out? I'm going to go out to the club, but I don't want to throw no money. Why? If you don't want to throw no money, then don't go to the club.
Don't go to the
It's as
club.
simple as that. Don't put yourself in that situation. And then it's just like taking small things like that will like it changes completely like how you look at disobeying God, in my
I
opinion.
think,
No.
yeah, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I've been thinking about that a lot, and also struggling with that, especially like coming off addiction. I wanted to get out of it, and I was praying, and I was like, "Oh, just take it away from me." And God was like, I will go with you, but you have to take steps towards me." So you can't just expect, like, God loves you, and He wants to help you, but He's not gonna coddle you.
Exactly.
Right.
You have to take those steps yourself, and that was something that was very important, um, getting out of an addiction.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true because people look at the macro of how do I quit. You have taken the baby steps to get you there. Nothing is. It's like how do I get closer to God? Well, you don't. It's not one thing or snap decision that you make. It's step by step every day, having the discipline to do the work to get closer to Him, or having the discipline to quit nicotine. And Jared, I should have texted you a couple days ago. How's that going and everything? You doing all right?
It's great, man. I'm pretty much like all gone with that. Like I talked about last week. I've been using the pouches, and I think
Mhm.
I'm barely using them now. It's
Good.
going great.
Bro,
Hell yeah.
Good. Yeah, man. Addiction is something that's a very strong thing because, I associate that can be associated a lot with, not get like super technical or super deep, but, the devil in essence, because it's like it chains you in and it locks you in and you're stuck in here, right? Whenever you're going through that, reading the Bible is essentially armoring up with God. Like you're just putting armor on. And now more than ever, you got to read the Bible. You got to stay within your faith because it's just going to make you stronger and it's going to protect you even more the further you get into it. So like anytime that the devil or the enemy is going to attack you, you got to read that word, man. Put on that armor. Let's go fight, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah, and that the night that that it really hit me that I was like, dude, I need to quit. And I was talking to God, and I was like, please help me. And he was like, all right. He was like, I want you to walk out to the street. And I was in my house in my parents' house. So I walk out the door, and he was like, turn right. And I was like, that's a dead end. That's not going to get me to the street. He was like, exactly. So then I go left into my living room, and I can go out the back door, the garage door, or the front door. And he's like, why are you going towards the front door? And I was like, well, if I'm going to the street, that's the quickest way to get there. He was like, exactly. You can't, if you're going to, you have to take the steps to come meet me. And I'm going to help you when you get there. But you have to walk towards me. And there's paths that can lead you to dead ends, and there's paths that can take you a longer way around. But if you need to take the quickest route, that's going to help you the most in the long run. That's going to get you further with me. And that's something that really helped.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful. It's true. It's true. You're only going to be as strong as your faith is with God whenever he's there with you. So I guess I don't want to spend too much time on this topic, but that was just another one of my goals. And the other ones are just kind of random. I just want to keep on my Instagram account updating all the photos and videos, and just, I got this camera and I'm really enjoying it. It's like really, really fun. I can do a bunch of stuff that I've never been able to do with the camera before. So I did that because I've never had a camera focus on my hand like that before. And then I also want to get into real estate this year. I want to get a property in real estate. You good?
Yeah. I don't know how much I can say. Don't worry. We'll talk after the podcast. I don't know how much I can say right now, but like I'm about to just keep going. Like this is.
Bro, I
is
knew
gonna be
something was
clipped.
up. You started talking about throwing money and stuff.
I'm gonna send this in the group message right now.
Okay.
Anybody watching on the podcast audio wise, I can't breathe right now.
All I hear is.
No, like this is insane. This is insane.
It's insane.
Like, all right, check your phone real quick.
Yeah, let's see.
I don't know. I really, no, I'm dead. I really don't know how much I can say about this on the podcast.
Hold the phone.
Like this just like it just happened.
No way, dude.
No shot.
Hold up. Everyone's
Hey!
Dude. No clue how long I've.
Oh my gosh. Yo, we've got a okay, yeah, we won't talk about this on here. We'll continue this here in a little bit. But
yeah, we'll talk about it in a little bit. I'm sorry for anybody listening audio wise. You may not understand. I mean, video wise, you may not understand either, but
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Something big just happened.
Something big's happening.
Sorry to throw the podcast
live on the pod,
live
baby.
on the air, dude.
Let's go.
Live on air. Wow, that means the world to hear that.
Dude, that's so awesome. That's so awesome, JB. I'm so happy for you, brother. That's incredible.
That's crazy.
Appreciate that.
Now, dude.
All right.
That's crazy.
Right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
How do I go back to anything?
Yeah.
How do we recover from this?
Listen, I got it. To reconvene, before we move on to Jared's topic, I just want like everybody to just like run through their resolutions real quick, just like what you want out of this year in 2023 and what you plan to do for it. Just like real quick, and then we'll move on to what Jared has for his topic.
Okay. Well,
you're already on yours, yeah.
Yeah, the last three that I have are I want to get into real estate this year, so buy at least one property. I want to get a promotion, so that's going to hopefully happen this year. We'll see if that happens. And then I want to reach 200 pounds of 10% body fat, which that is a long shot, but we'll see what happens. We have a full year to make it happen. So those are mine.
Mine are like more to get back and then elevate. So my last year of college, I felt like I was in like the best shape of my life, not physically, but mentally. I was meditating every day. I was praying every day and just spending time in solitude. And also my diet was where I wanted it to be. I want to get back to that shape, mindset. And then I also want to elevate while I'm, trying to grow my business. I want to be able to incorporate all those habits in there and learn even more and see if I can get better. That's mine.
Yeah, so I feel like mine's the same. I want to get back in physical shape like I was, and even better then. And then I want a mental state to grow, but also in faith, like I was talking about earlier, being comfortable in uncomfortable situations, whatever God has in store for me, and I want to start Christian content on all platforms. So
Oh,
we've just started doing that, and hopefully we can grow that. So
Yes,
dope.
sir. What about you,
Love that.
JB?
Love that. Well, I have mine written down actually on a whiteboard over here because I believe in Habakkuk 2, verse 2 and 3. Write the vision, make it plain so that whoever sees it will run to it. And though it may tarry, wait for it, for surely it will come at an appointed time. So that's like my favorite Bible verse, by the way. So my goals are get a brand sponsorship. I want 100,000 followers on Instagram. I want 100,000 followers on TikTok. I want to walk closer with God every day. So, like, it's not just like wake up and rinse and repeat the same thing every single day and get closer to God. It's what steps can I take each and every single day that makes me get closer to Him? What am I doing new that will walk me closer to God? Not just my same old that I've been doing, because then my faith stagnates. Become very adept in the Bible. So I want to be able, when somebody asks me about it, I want to be able to recite things from the Bible without having to go like look it up or something like that. I want to be able to just say, oh yeah, in Genesis or in Exodus, Moses did this, or in Genesis, this happened. I want to be able to have that kind of mindset. And then lastly, I want to have closer relationships across the board. So whether I mean God, friends, family, I want to be able to have a conversation no matter who it is, be honest, open, like we said, honest, open, and transparent with anybody, and just be able to talk and not hold back what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling, and just be, because it feels so much more relief whenever I'm able to just open up what I'm thinking at that time. And the same thing, all my friends be able to do that the same way to me. Those are my goals. Those are my goals.
Those are some good goals there, man. I like it. 2023 is going to come in hot for all of us.
It's gonna come in hot.
I can't stop
coming
looking
in
at my
hot.
phone.
Hey,
I can't stop
Hey,
looking at my phone.
I'm not
Chill,
saying
bro,
anything, but I think
chill.
JB just crossed off one of his goals. And we're on
I
what?
just-
We're on the
Chill,
10th
bro,
of the
I'm so
year.
curious. I'm so curious, bro.
The 10th day of the year, I swear.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. All right, moving into our last topic. Jared, J Rod.
J
all right.
Rod.
I got some. I got a question for y'all, and I want y'all to think about it, and really think about it for your answer. All right. So the question is: does Christianity's force of good outweigh, equal, or come up short of the force of evil that we see in the world today?
Oh, wow, that's deep.
Say that again.
Does Christianity's force of good outweigh, equal, or come up short of the force of evil we see in the world today?
Can I answer first? Or do you want to go, JB?
Yes, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
All right. So I have like a two-part answer to this. From what we see in the world happening right now, yes, it's coming up very short. But from what's actually there, no, it vastly outweighs. We just can't comprehend it. We can't comprehend what's there. We're not made to comprehend that. We can't know that. That's why faith exists. And this kind of goes back to our first podcast.
Yeah.
But that's just my answer. You know.
I mean, I agree that what we see in the world, it does feel like it's coming up short, but then it also goes back to thinking how graceful that we are, that we can sin even in today, how much we sin and how much we do, and how much grace and love we still get from God every single day. And to know that we are still saved, regardless of how far we may stray away, that we can always still come back. It almost like I almost still want to say that the force of good still outweighs, because you don't see it, like Will said, you don't see it, but it's just like that amount of grace that we have. It's undeniable. You can't even comprehend just how much love God has for us and what He's done for us.
I am gonna go back to Will because I feel like we are so tempted, and all we see is sin and stuff in this world, but we can't fathom all the goodness and all the like miracles that we don't recognize. So I feel like obviously it far outweighs the sense of evil, but as humans we choose not to see that. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
Okay.
I think it's
Good answers. Good answers.
It's very hard. I think the hardest part is to try and not sin. You know, a lot of us, you know, I'm not going to speak because I mean, I'm guilty of this 400%, but like, you know, I sin. We all sin every single day. Like there are things that I know that I shouldn't be doing that I still do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's hard for me to address and change. Which I'm always working on it. I'm trying my absolute best, especially now more than ever, because man, if there's a time where Jesus is close to coming back, we've seen a lot of stuff recently. A lot of stuff has happened recently. And so I'm not saying that something's going to happen, but we've been the closest I feel like personally that we have ever been. But that's just me going out on a limb here. I think the hardest part is actually implementing that into the world. We can see it, we can do it, but how do you implement it to try and not do it anymore? But to your point, we still sin and we're still forgiven for it.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot. I got told this when I was young, and I'm a big proponent of it. Is that um, it's not about the rules; it's about the relationship. So if you're always concerned about, well, just sticking to the rules and like I can't do this, can't do that, I think you miss the whole point sometimes. And I think a lot of people, if one of us swears or something like that, people are gonna go, "Oh my gosh, he's supposed to be Christian. He's swearing."
Fake Christian,
And
fake Christian.
yeah, yeah, fake Christian. They'll call fake Christian, and it's like it's not about the rules. It's about the relationship with Christ. And if you concern yourself with the rules all the time, you're gonna miss the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I saw like an influencer talk about it, and he said that people look at the Bible as if it's like a rule book, and this is what you have to follow by, and it's not necessarily it's a rule book. It's a guide to life, and it's a guide to showing that how Jesus was able to live and how we could never live that life. And so it always points back to Jesus going to the cross, that he was that perfect lamb that died for us, that we could never do what he did, but it's a guide for how we should be living our life and a relationship that we should have with him, not just this, you didn't follow this rule so you can't get in. Like that's not the idea of the Bible.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I am trying so hard. I can't think of the verse off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to go back and look it up. There is one verse though in the Bible where it does say, I'm not disagreeing with anything you guys are saying, but there is one verse in the Bible, and I'm gonna have to leave this up here once we finish this podcast, where essentially God will have someone, you go up to heaven, you kind of do like everything you're supposed to do, but you don't really have that relationship. And you're like, well, God, well, I followed you and I did everything I was supposed to do. And he essentially looks at you and says, I don't know who you are. You're not a follower of mine. Go back to earth. He's like, you're not allowed here anymore.
Depart from me. I do not know you.
What is it? What is it? Hold on. Say it.
Depart from me. I never knew you.
Yes. That. So that furthermore emphasizes your point, Jared, of the relationship is what matters. It's not what you do. It's the relationship that you have.
Exactly.
I think that was a really good question.
Great question.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a really good question.
Gosh. Well,
appreciate it. I got one more topic that I want to touch on. So God kind of laid this on my heart yesterday. The topic is reacting to someone talking down on you or gossiping about you, and at what point does the I'll show them kind of mindset that people get in? I think that's especially for men, that's a big one. That we'll be successful and we'll show them that like what we can be. And at what point does that become toxic? I was thinking about this yesterday, and I was like, um, when people talk down or gossip or whatever about me or whatever situation I'm in, my mind goes to, well, I'll just show them, or honestly, it's like F them. I'm better than them, or like this is going wrong in your life, and you're talking about mine, like mine is better than yours. And God was really like, whoa, hold up, like you it's not on you. It was never supposed to be on you to change their heart. That was never your job. Your job is to love people and love them regardless of whether they persecute you. And I think at the point it becomes toxic is when you're doing it to glorify yourself. You say, I'm gonna show them, I'm gonna glow up, and then I'm gonna be this person that they can't deny, and they're gonna look at me with such admiration. And God's like, that's not the point. The point is for me to be glorified, not you. And it's not your job to change their heart. and that really spoke to me. So I wanted to hear y'all's thoughts on that.
Jared, that was absolutely incredible because that's probably been the biggest thing I've struggled with the past like 8 months. Right when I moved home last August, I let so many people get in my head. 'Cause, I'm moving back in with my parents. I'm seeing how my parents' friends are kind of looking at me, where oh, he's moving back home, blah blah blah, and them not knowing I'm paying my parents X amount of dollars while paying X amount of dollars on an apartment down in Starkville. They didn't know that, and they don't know me. So why do I care about proving them wrong? That I care about what people who actually like you guys. If you guys felt or had an opinion or came with me, like with something, I would value that a hell of a lot more than if a random person that I don't even know does. And outside of that, like my own dad, whenever I moved home, he was not on this train at all. Like there was a like bad conversation we had about it, and for months following just that one conversation, I was crippled by every day, every car ride. I was by myself. I can't wait. I can't wait to prove him wrong. Blah, blah, blah. I can't wait to do this. And then finally, probably around like last Thanksgiving, I like sat myself down. I'm like, I am not getting anywhere like mentally by doing this. So why am I doing this?
Yep.
And
Exactly.
yeah, I'm just so glad you brought that up. And ever since I've let go of that conversation or trying to prove people wrong, it's really been true freedom.
Yeah, I feel that. That's a conversation you and I had, Jack, for a while. Whenever we started doing social media, it was like everybody, like not even like just friends or family. It was like, oh, I wonder if they don't believe me. They don't believe what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna show them. And we both like had to talk about it and had to like shed that mindset that we shouldn't be caring about what they're doing. It's like you said that it's a pride thing that we need to humble ourselves, and that it's not about, oh, I made it, now I'm gonna show you that I made it. Like, yeah, like did they doubt you and does it feel good when you do make it? It feels good, but like Jared said, that's not the overall point. The overall point is we're supposed to be glorify God no matter what we do. So even no matter what source of media, no matter what you're doing throughout your life, what you're doing is trying to glorify God and what you're doing on this earth in order to bring more people to the kingdom. And so that was I think that was a big threshold that you and I had to break through for a while. It's like trying to just show people, like, yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. You just wait. Just wait.
And to that point, I think, like I said, I think it can be good thing, especially for like motivation. But at the point that you want the glory from it, from progressing in your life, that's when it becomes toxic. And I think that is a big problem in our society as a whole.
Absolutely.
I feel that.
I would agree. And I think a lot of it too comes down to insecurities with how you think other people view you. More so than just trying to prove people wrong. I know a lot of people that they care majority about just what other people think in general. Right. So it's not always just about, I'm going to prove people wrong, though. I'm not going to lie. That is a massive portion of it. And I'm guilty of it. I've had that before, just like Jack and JB. I think all of us here have experienced that. I think a lot of people have. I mean, I feel like most people probably have at some point in time. But it's understanding where that's kind of coming from and why. Oh, JB's camera died.
Typical JB fashion. Everything dies.
fashion.
I can't tell you how many FaceTime calls we've had, and it just went. Zoom. I'm like, it's fine.
It's dead. It's done.
It happens every time. We
Continue talking. Continue talking.
But essentially, it's a lot deeper in the sense of, for men, I feel like the hardest thing for men to do, we have all these feelings, these desires, these things. As men, we're programmed to be very logical people. We are very logical. There are definitely people that are emotional. Everyone has different varying levels of that. But for the most part, a lot of us are just very black and white. Just, hey, here's what's happening. Here's what's happening. All right. We don't necessarily understand feelings to the same extent that women do. That's perfectly okay. Naturally, God didn't make us to be that way necessarily. We are, the provider, and she is traditionally, the like the mother. What's the word? Like where you raise the kids, I can't think of the word. Caregiver, yes. And so, I think understanding those kinds of emotions too, and those kinds of feelings add a lot to it, because then you start to have a deeper understanding of why you're feeling certain ways for certain things.
Yep, exactly right.
JB's out.
0 dark 30 over there.
0 dark 30.
It's crazy.
All right. Well, is
Hey,
that
my webcam's finally not the worst in the chat right now.
there? He
Never mind.
is.
There we go.
There,
Yeah,
it
like
is.
the camera just like turned off on me, and then I had to like restart the entire software for it. But it's good now.
I'm back at the bottom again. JB, turn your camera back up.
Yeah, turn it back off, man. J-Rod is looking good.
But
over
I
there.
agree with what you were saying. Well, I agree.
Yeah, there's, you know, and I want to make this clear to everybody who's listening. Like, I bring up all these points and all these different ideas and topics off of what someone else has asked or what someone else has said. I want to be very clear. I'm not disagreeing with anything anybody's saying here, okay? I'm agreeing with everything that everybody's saying. I'm just adding a different perspective to it, right? Because that's kind of, we want to do that, right? You want to have a bunch of different perspectives on one topic, because then you wouldn't really be providing much value or any kind of thought insight into what we're talking about, you know? I think we all do a really good job of that. And I'm really, really thankful for you boys for wanting to hop on here and talk about this stuff and really just provide something that's awesome for not just us, because I mean, we have these conversations all the time, but for other people too.
For sure.
So
Absolutely.
does anybody else have anything that y'all want to state before we wrap it up?
That's all I got. I just can't wait to this.
All my topics. Yeah, we got a discussion.
I can't wait to hear about this. Let's go.
Wrap it up first.
All righty, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Small Talk Sunday. We'll be back again next week with another topic over who knows what. We'll decide that soon. But you guys take care, and we'll see you guys next week.
Drop it.